Hello, happy bros. Hey, you're about to get a face full of the Kenn Bosak. He's a mentor. That's what I heard. He's a connector. Oh, yeah. He's a brilliant leader. I've seen it. He's Kenn Bosak. Oh, happy bro. You gotta get some Bitcoin and hold it. Happy bros. You gotta get those NFTs and you gotta hodl that stuff. You gotta hodl it. Cause I'm Kenn bro. We got your Bitcoin, bro. He's an original. Buy some NFTs and hold them. How many times does he have to tell you? Going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. 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 Yeah, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Bro, we're going to the moon. Oh yeah, we're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. Real high. Yep. Real high. Hello, happy bros. Come get some Kenn Bosak.
And we're live. Sorry about the lateness there.
Hello.
How goes the day, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Let me jump into the live stream chat, see who's all here. You know, as always, my co-host Nathan, and we got our guest reoccurring John Constantine back on the show. Let's kick it off a little bit with what you were talking about, Nathan, off air. Some lady sold a fucking $500,000 house NFT. Wait, what?
Yeah, a member of Team Superworld, Krista Kim, sold a house on Super Rare for $500,000. I think it's called the Mars House or just Mars House, I forget. But it's making some big waves out there. It's pretty impressive.
So what was the details behind this? Because I'm curious. Like, first thing I asked was this like a physical house? Like, if I bought the NFT, do I get to redeem it, or was this like a piece of art? Or I'm just curious because what was up? Why was it worth $500,000 to somebody?
Well, and as we know, the value is so subjective in these markets. So somebody just decided they wanted it that bad. It was kind of on auction, I think, too. So it was probably driven up. In addition to that, it's just awesome looking. So I don't know. Like, that's why I think it's amazing. It probably sold for that reason. It's essentially like an architectural rendering of kind of like a futuristic looking house. It's like a 3D rendering of it. Super high res. Super cool. Yeah. It's one of the cooler ones I've seen in recent memory, for sure.
I want to bring John in as an unbiased critic to this. And I will stage the question in a way because I don't want to cover it because I have a biasness, obviously, Superworld. But John, what are your thoughts on, publicity stunts like this, or something that maybe where a company may do something to where it's like, hey, now we sold this much and we're getting attention from like secondary thing. And the concept of an auction in general, if you go watch any TV show, sitcom where they're doing an auction, they always have like a stooge in there, trying to up the bid of the auction, right? And it's like, if they're playing with their friend's money. So it's like, oh, bid up again. And their friend is like, okay, it's your money anyway. anyway. And then there's a stranger in the audience that's like, wow, they really want this. Let me try to get it and sell it back to them at double. I'm curious, John, what are your thoughts on auctions and marketing and kind of like that guerrilla tactic that we may be seeing? Because I want to be unbiased, but I do want to bring up what I would bring up if this wasn't Super World.
Right. Well, I got to say, I think that's probably the most loaded, unbiased question I've ever heard. But I think there's a huge amount of that in this industry. The interesting thing about blockchain and transparency is it's super transparent. So you can see the accounts that are doing everything and you can see the values, which is really nice because you can see the values of the bids and there's no it's harder to do a silent auction or silent sales because someone can just look it up.
Going to look right at
but
that
it's hard
wallet
to know.
Boy and be like, wait, is that wallet receiving paychecks from that company every month? Or is that wallet just an actually complete stranger? And that's the true transparency I wanted to get to. And I'm so happy you brought that up, man.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, there is still a level of anonymity or pseudo-anonymity to it.
Exactly.
Pseudo-anonymity is perfect.
So I think human nature, there are going to be people that game any market that they can game because they want to make money. I don't know anything about that sale in specific, but I think in the crypto art stuff in general, there is undoubtedly going to be a lot of that stuff in there. And I think it's foolish to think there won't be. I think several years ago when things like BitMEX opened up and all, there were people that were optimistic or didn't want to believe that wash trading was going on. But then years later, it's obviously going on all of these platforms. So I don't know about that one in particular. I don't follow Super Rare all that much. But I would be surprised if that isn't happening. I don't know about some of the other auctions that went on, with with Beeple's Big Piece and with some of the B20 stuff. A lot of those guys were super transparent and open about who was involved and how it went down. And so I think there are a lot of honest people.
I don't think we know who bought the $69 million Beeple. I don't know if that was public, was it?
So he came forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a friend of a friend, actually, which is I didn't know until yesterday. And I saw the thing and it was pretty crazy. So if you Google it, it should pop right up. I forget the man's name because I'm not very good, obviously, of a friend. But it's pretty cool that they're coming forward to kind of show hey, this isn't a stunt, I think it's sort of important because like you said, that pseudo anonymity lends itself to a lot of questioning.
And that's why I did want to bring this up before I started to circle jerk and pat you on the back because that is amazing. Shout out to Super World, shout out to her, $500,000 for an NFT of this house on Mars. That's awesome. But I don't want people thinking I'm just pumping Super World because you're on the show. So I have to start off kind of being. No,
I appreciate it. I really appreciate the non-biased kind of. It's good to grill people to give the people listening an honest chance.
And what John brought up, it's not just whatever. It could be any platform or any seller to any extent of even not even knowing what's happening because your community can market manipulate you without your consent. I don't need it. Nobody needs my permission to go and bid on a mint number 1 NFT that they put up for auction themselves with other addresses to hype them. I'm seeing people fuck around you guys. Please stop. Please, you know what I mean? But I think what we're seeing happen with I don't know, Steve Aoki, bought I think a Beeple to donate to charity for millions, and that's sort of tax evasion, money laundering, wash trading of its own. It's hey, Steve Aoki gets to write off a shit ton of money because he donated it to charity. Now he has a piece of art. He's probably going to sell that piece of art and donate that money to charity to get more tax write-off. So to him, it's an IRS IOU blank check that he gets to redeem for tax exemption. And I'm just curious, how you guys think we could see the mainstream that's already taking advantage of the financial situations that are in place, right? Those loopholes that exist for the wealthy, how are they going to extrapolate on top of that and utilize this technology to just do what they've been doing, but now just do it better?
Yeah, well, I think one thing about, at least as far as auctions and stuff, is I think people need to have their own concrete view of what something's worth regardless. So as much as I appreciate people that are honest and don't do stunts like that, at the end of the day, if you don't know what something is valued to you without someone else's input, then, I think you're probably getting screwed already. Like you need to decide what's valuable
So
in your
doesn't
life.
that come down to, hey,
Interesting.
this is how much I love it?
Yeah, I mean, because like I wouldn't bid a ton on something just because someone else is. I think that's ridiculous. But I think
Yeah.
like human nature is always going to exist, and people are going to try and exploit blockchain and this technology for that too. But what Bitcoin does is, and these other smart contract platforms, is it recognizes human nature and it builds itself to be anti-fragile to that. So people are going to try and do that, but I think it's a better solution than we've had before, where we don't know who's pulling strings behind on the NASDAQ and on NYSE and all that kind of stuff. There's at least more transparency.
It's all Wall Street bets. We know who's behind it. So, right now, what I'm seeing is an opportunity that has yet to be taken advantage of. And I've talked about it a bit, but, getting into physical art collectors becoming more digital art collectors. Physical art has become digital by burning Banksy's and Picasso's and, people taking pictures of the art before it's destroyed and making it an NFT. I'm curious, when do you think, either one of you could touch on this, honestly, because, you're both artists and, you probably had to deal with your own level of counterfeiting and secondary markets of fake art and this and that. And how far do you think we are from somebody paying $100 million for a fake Beeple at a conference, at a cryptocurrency conference, just where they like, oh, look at this MetaMask. I have a token, $100 million. It's yours. Send me the Bitcoin. How far do you both think we're away from seeing like that $100 million Eiffel Tower NFT thing where it's like somebody's going to buy a fake Mona Lisa NFT?
Probably has already happened, but honestly, it could be like any day, like any time, because the market's at like a peak right now. So you've got that FOMO thing where people are kind of rushing into these big decisions, not really looking at and doing their research and everything. And people click really fast and they sign these transactions before they really kind of see where this stuff is originating from a lot of times. Like I said, I think it's probably either already happened in big ways and people didn't admit it because they don't want to look dumb, or it's about to happen any day. I mean, what happens when like a big auction house or somebody tries to do it and they get scammed also? And
I feel like these auction houses don't have a clue what they're doing, and they're just trying to be. So the first piece that Christie's auctioned, I think they did well with people, but there was a piece they auctioned before that last year. It was the most like thrown together strange thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the headlining piece was named after a person. It's not the artist that did it. I don't remember the name of it. I don't know if you guys remember, but I know
what you're referring to, but like I don't know.
It was this big stone disc with the Bitcoin code, white paper code written on it, and it was named after a person. But I'm like on the website, and it's not the name of the artist that did it. His name is in like fine print on the last page, but I don't know that NFT ever actually happened. Like the contract address isn't anywhere, the token ID isn't anywhere. I don't know if the person that bought it ever received it. Like we can't track it because they kind of just did an auction and then it never, got much publicity after that. So I think big auction houses have a lot to learn before they really can, before they can put their names to use in a useful way in the space.
What advice would you guys give them as artists who are coming into this space? Realistically, John, you're in a position where you could have a 7-figure piece of art go. And what do you do when you have a 7-figure piece of art out in the world and somebody's out there selling counterfeit physical NFT art by John Constantine? Like, what would you have to say? How could you try to put these measures in place for auction houses or art galleries? Like, they have no clue where to start, but as an artist who's into crypto, I'm curious, like, where do you think they should or could start?
Okay, so I think that has to be like ahead of time rather than after the fact. And the first thing I would say to anyone listening that's an artist or a gallerist is put your contract address and the token IDs on your website. Because if you are the central point where people are going to look to for authenticity, or if someone doesn't know how to look it up on the blockchain, they're going to go to your website. And if your website says this is our official contract address and our official token ID, they can go on the auction and they can see, wait, this is not the same thing. So make use of the technology that's there, but first they have to understand the technology before they can put those safeguards in place. So I would just encourage them to understand the technology better. But like you're saying, like counterfeits are going to happen and they're going to, misdirect people. If you can scam people on Instagram with a fake username, you can scam people on, blockchain auctions. But that's going to happen. And if it happened to my art, I would feel bad for the person. But it gets to a point where there's only so much you can do to help people as far as due diligence, and they've just got to use a little bit of prudence.
John,
Yeah, they're gonna have to hire people like John and myself.
That's what I was gonna say, Nathan. How do they do their due diligence? Where do they start? Do they have to get do these art galleries need to go through some kind of like crypto licensing classes or something? Like, do we, the community, have to put together a course for these like art galleries and auction houses to then have to know, like, do you know how to verify a contract? Do you know how to see if it's actually on a server or IPFS, or how's the image? Can they rug pull by switching the image or something? Like, is there, do they go through this and then we give the auction houses the verifications and we stop waiting for them to verify us?
Yeah,
well, that's the thing. I think a lot of us, like John and myself, are going to get hired as consultants, and we'll be like the first step. And all of a sudden, you're going to have a whole generation of young artists who felt kind of left out of the physical art scene, who are kind of being called upon, almost begged for help from auction houses, art galleries. And we're going to be kind of that first step. And then, they'll learn and they won't need us anymore. But I think it's going to be interesting if you see a lot of us getting these consultation jobs. Like, I've already been reached out to by 2 places in the last 6 months. And it's the same kind of thing. Like, how do we verify this? How do we present that? And it's going to be kind of delivered to us on a silver platter, I think, a lot of us.
Yep.
The ones that have educated themselves, like John here, like, he knows how to track things. A lot of artists don't know how to even follow a transaction on Etherscan. Yeah. But we're like these tech experts, like we claim to be these experts. Like, people don't even use IPFS. There's a lot of issues out there.
But that's the cost of doing business. Obviously these galleries want to preserve their name and their position in the art world. And if the art world is changing, that's the cost of doing business for them. They have to, if they don't know how to do it, they have to hire consultants that do, real consultants, not 2017 fake consultant, people that know what they're talking about.
I wouldn't fucking hire Ty Lopez, is what I'm saying.
You're gonna have a whole wing of a museum with like Zen Vibe screens, and then just like there's gonna be a wing that you walk into, like the digital art section. There's gonna be like the legacy art section, and I think that's kind of what you're gonna see happening more in the near future, and then eventually it's
not even gonna be the near future. Do you know how much money artists are making right now? I know artists that have their own stores, and Sergio, do what you love, I believe is his slogan. At least he does a lot of arts, like do what you love or love what you do, something like that. And
I saw that is his screen name on there.
Yeah, he has a studio in Miami, bro, and I ain't gonna lie, like, I came into the you're a fucking artist, has his own store. Like, you're weird. Like, that's stupid. You're wasting money. Bro, I went to his store just to hang out for like an hour, bro. I saw him sell I'm not even lying. I'm like, bro, I get it. I totally get it. Like,
especially Miami is like the new arts.
Yeah,
it's the new New York.
He was doing like Wawa level business, like fucking convenience store level traffic. I was like, holy shit, man. Like, I get it. Like, it makes sense as an artist to have your own brick and mortar if you have physical art, right? I think we're going to see these artists who are doing fairly well right now in the market reinvest in themselves in such ways that will impress Silicon Valley and shock places like New York City. They'll never see what's about to happen in Austin, Texas, and Miami when it comes to the art industry. Dude, these stores are about to look like Apple stores with those Zen Vibe things like Nathan was talking about, and carbon fiber, NFC technology, physical fucking like that. We're not going to see that come from Christie's. They do not have the time to beat John and Nathan and me or you to that market. And Sergio is going to be the one to be able to do it, or Josie or Nanu or Vesa. I mean, there's so many independent artists that are going to be the next fucking Christie's. Christie's is Blockbuster now, bro, and they know it. And there's nothing they can do. Nothing. They're going to have to rebrand, have a subsidiary company, and have to start from the ground up and use that main company to push there are people there and promote it saying, hey, check this out. I already know how it's going to have to be played out, but I want to encourage the artists that are making money right now selling their art. Reinvest in yourself. Get a store in your area right now while this pandemic is making everything so damn cheap. Like, buy the dip and invest in yourself.
Like John and I are going to do this a crazy project. We're kind of in a planning stage. We started talking recently about it. We've got some wild ideas, and there's going to be companies probably reaching out to us to be a part of it. And we might just say no because we're pure artists, you know? And we want to do our own thing.
I get it.
I was listening to your interview with Decline actually just this morning, and I love what you were saying about like wearable. Like you've got this attitude where, you know, you've got your style, and if anyone has a problem with it,
but like I'm owning it. So like the verification thing, you know, I think maybe it's not a good idea to. I think I was just at a part in my career where I was like a little more prideful. And I just sensed something that was like, I actually don't want the verification. You can do something special with that verification. Like if you give me it, I'm off this platform.
I did it. Yeah. I did exactly what you said without even knowing you said that before we even met, bro. Like, so yeah, I did the same thing though. Rarible verified my Rarible store. And I'm buying art from artists who've been making crypto art NFTs for years, and all I did was tweet out, hey, verify me, and they did. And I'm like, wow, you cucks. You influencer cucks. Like, you simps for fucking impressions. Like, I'm sorry, I burned all of my Rarible NFTs out of protest. I will not sell on Rarible.
Nice.
But I do buy because that's where my artists are at, and I don't mind Rarible for that reason. Like, whatever, I'll buy my artist's art on Rarible if that's the case. But I'm not going to use it because, like, they verified me just because I have followers or whatever. Like, but there's artists that have, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it just bothers me. And then, like, you know, Nathan said, if you're not verified right now, you're a gem. You're what we would call in a shitcoin community a low cap gem.
Yeah.
You know, like I buy a lot of art on Atomic Hub right now that isn't verified because when they get verified, they're gonna be like popped up out of nowhere on, you know, this, and they're gonna be like, wow, look at all the sales and all that. Like, I'm just looking at it like people would look at it like a shitcoin on Binance if it finally got listed like wax. How people that have been using Binance for a year will finally find this coin wax or your NFT when it gets whitelisted. It's like, wow, look at all this history it has. And it's new to me. Let me get in.
Yeah, and I even have like, I'll say this for the first time. I have a secret Rarible too. Not associated, that nobody actually knows is me. So there's one out there too. And that one's making sales.
Nate's great at keeping secrets. I love it.
No, but what's funny is I want to see if people can find it now.
Okay.
Because I just thought how, you know, it might be funny to just start letting people see if it's there, because that one might have a little check mark on it. But here's the thing. If the one that is mine gets verified, I already have something for that, a protest piece that I'm going to be dropping.
I love it.
Bring it up.
I love protest art. I love that culture in the art community. I think it's awesome.
Criticize by creating, right? But here's the thing, like I love everybody, and I just, there's an equal and opposite reaction to everything though, because to be that open and loving, like I guess somehow I closed myself off a little bit during that part of it, because I was just, I don't know, I was just kind of being bitter and jaded. And now that I'm kind of open and happy and whatever, like there's still that piece of me that's scarred, and I just kind of want to finish that little chapter and just move on. But I think us artists are a little sensitive too. Like if something rubs us the wrong way,
a little,
we're going to express that, you know?
Sure.
Hey, Ken has seen me cry a bunch of times. Like he's literally played me No Woman, No Cry before the show.
Yeah, you're really not going to let me live that one down. I was kind of a dick for that, huh?
I thought it was like the funniest thing ever.
It was supposed to make you laugh.
It did. It cheered me right up.
So man, I do want to jump in here though and see if we can segue into talking about a little about, because you know, I saw John chime in on the Kyle Kemper Sergey Love What You Do piece. And, you know, it's a physical piece of art. I mean,
It's super cool.
There's these NFC hardware wallets essentially like caked into the canvas and into the paint that if you take your phone out and you tap your phone to it, you can actually take money off of the piece of art or add money to it. And since that hardware wallet was updated recently, you can actually add NFTs or take NFTs
That's
from
cool.
the piece of art. So it is a Bitcoin and it is a NFT faucet, physical piece of art. And this was done a few years ago. And I'm just, seeing the way that, with the carbon fiber stuff that John's doing and the NFC stuff that Kyle's been doing, getting physical art into the NFT, like on the blockchain, quite literally. There's people that say, hey, if you buy this NFT, like what I'm doing with Nanu, we'll airdrop this, we can redeem, but it's not like when you get the physical thing, it's not like tied to it in any way.
Right.
But what you're doing is quite different. So I'm curious, where you see the future of, just like that going, like the physical art and where artists today may be able to start to do things that are, kind of revolutionary along with the lines of what you're doing.
Yeah, I think that is going to be one of the big bridges between the physical art world and the digital art world, because I think right now you've got two very different industries trying to figure each other's industry out. And like block people clearly don't understand art. Like if they're not already art fanatics, they don't understand how the art world works. And artists are trying to understand how the technology side works. So I think that's going to be a bridge where people understand the value proposition of the other world that they're trying to understand. So I would say, like, first of all, like my DMs are always open. I read things, I respond to people. I'll happily help anyone get started on their journey or figure something out. I think tying your physical piece to the digital is important, and it's not expensive. Like you can buy NFC chips for like 10 cents, get them on Amazon, experiment with them until you figure them out. And I mean, people even kind of did something by putting QR codes on his art. So in a way, he's got that tied too. But I think it is important to have, who's to say you can't just spin up a new NFT if you don't like the one that you have and say that it's associated with that art
My
piece?
boy Johnny Dollar actually put an open dime into one of his pieces of art. So it's like there's an actual like functional hardware wallet in the piece of art.
I like that.
Right? It's badass.
I like that.
Yeah, people always used to hide a safe behind the valuable painting or something, or behind the thing. Like
now it's right in front of it. Yeah, it is the whole thing.
Like, what do we just plug into it?
I love the thing you did with Kyle though, because I had thought of this before too.
I didn't do it with him. I just kind of gave him. I kind of pushed Kyle and Sergey. Okay. It's Sergey, right? I always feel like it's Sergio.
I think
is it
so.
Sergio or Sergey?
Oh, it might be.
I think it's Sergio.
It might be.
Sorry, I don't know.
That sounds more.
Sergio
I think that sounds
better. Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
Whatever. But I kind of just
sounds
like
cool
pushed them together. It was like, here, be friends. And here's this thing called Tangem. And if you guys are watching this live right now, no, they do not pay me. This is not a paid promotion. But I do highly advise every one of you to get one of these damn cards. Get one.
Yeah, those are sick. I want to understand those more because I don't understand how it works with the private key and with that.
There is no
with
private
approving. Key. How does it sign the transaction without a battery?
There is a private key. There is a private key. It just doesn't. It doesn't expose the private key through the OS. Yeah. I guess with like brute force or something, maybe you could like, I don't know, but there's no way to like.
It doesn't have a battery though, right?
Well, that's because it's NFC. So you know how you charge NFC? So you take it to the back of your phone and you just rub it. Mm-hmm. And now it's charged for a week.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, how does it sign transactions without a battery?
You can just hold it to the back of your phone where it's supposed to read the NFC, and it's charging up that little awesome. Bit in here. And for the people that are like, what the fuck is he talking about? It's a piece of plastic. I actually bought this one because I was tired of trying to explain it. No, I bought one where it was transparent.
Nice, dude. Nice.
So this is what's inside. It's a little chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see the copper threading that goes around, and that little itty bitty chip holds a little bit of juice and that holds memory that's written. So when you tap it, and it uses your phone application. It's open source, so you could make your own wallet to interact with this because their open source code is just, you can just make your own John wallet for Android and use
That's
this
cool.
card to do it.
But I think that painting's cool because it's like people will embellish physical art with gold, like just as an embellishment. I think it's cool that you can like embellish that art with Bitcoin in a sense. So it's got like some kind of value external of the art. I think it's pretty sick.
Oh yeah, dude. I think that's the future, is just finding ways to incorporate digital and physical stuff, like our virtual collectibles and things like that, but in a way that gives them utility in our daily lives.
Well, doesn't this completely solve, or not maybe
absolutely.
completely, but I mean damn near completely solves physical counterfeiting?
Yeah.
Because it's almost
Yeah,
like you
almost
can't get a
entirely.
fake Bitcoin, right? Like if you say, here's my Bitcoin wallet, send me a Bitcoin, you can't send me a fake Bitcoin. So it's sort of like saying like that by putting this NFC technology or like a thing like an open dime or whatever, like into your physical art and physically connecting it to the blockchain is giving it the same level of security and verifiability, therefore taking away like 99.9% of any trust factor that would have to, be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, if Christie's would put the contract address and the token ID on their website, it's super easy. Wherever you have a gallery, put this stuff on there. That way people can scan the art and then go, like, you can go to my website and look at the contract address for everything.
Yeah.
So you know it's legit. And when I die and all my art's worth like 10x or whatever, if I, whatever happens and my trust
when
is
you fake
managing
your
the
death.
website, yeah. Yeah. Like it'll always be there.
That's the plan. You got to fake your death as an artist so you can capitalize on that. That's what all the good artists that die young. That's what they don't tell you. They fake their death and they went away somewhere and made tons of money.
I wish.
That's the game.
Wait, which artist?
I hope
Which artist was it that did have an ear? Was that like
Van Gogh?
Van Gogh?
Cut his ear off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was that like him planning on like faking his death and he decided not to? He was like, no, hear me out. Maybe the story could have read Van Gogh's house burns down. All they found left was an ear. That could have been the story,
Maybe.
but he was like, you know what? Never mind. This was a bad idea. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to start over. I don't want to leave the spotlight.
John, let's cut our ears off and make physical NFTs out of them, and just paint them like Starry Night. We'll paint them like Starry Night. Put NFC chips.
I'm turning this
Let's
off.
go.
I'm
Let's
turning
go.
this off right now.
Did you see a new Van Gogh legitimately
I'm
just
cutting
dropped?
my ear off right now. All right, guys. Sorry.
A new Van Gogh no one's ever seen just dropped like a week ago. And it's funny because he's been dead like for how long? And then all of a sudden people are like, wait,
Is he dead, bro?
Van
No,
Gogh
I
just
know.
dropped a new piece.
It's pretty crazy. I wonder like when we're gonna see one of these family members NFT something, because it's just been like in their house forever. It's like their great grandpa painted it.
Well, what if the
It has to
fine
be a
art?
famous artist.
What if the fine art industry is like the diamond industry, and they have a reserve of 1,000 or 100,000 official like real Picassos that they have
sure.
not put out into circulation yet? How do you know?
I mean, that's kind of a little bit about how it works, though. I mean, without the supply isn't quite as big, but
Right. That's how
I
auction
have
houses
400
work,
right now.
especially when an auction house has an artist's art and they die before it goes up for auction.
Dude, if I died right now, there'd be 400 unreleased pieces. Maybe actually there's probably more. I just say 400 because it's the lower rounding down part of it. But
They just won't tell you how much they really had. And they're like, oh, look what we found.
yeah, they can just
10 years
divvy them
later.
out at certain times. You
Yep.
know, it is what it is. Especially if they're on the blockchain and they own the wallet.
You know what I think's interesting, and I wonder what you guys think of this as artists and getting into the NFT stuff is I've seen people accidentally do this, and I don't think it's out of any malintent or anything like malicious as an artist or trying to do anything shady, because they're decent people. At least the ones I've seen kind of fuck up. I haven't caught anybody doing it yet on purpose, but minting a mint one of one, selling it, and then minting another mint one of the same art and selling that. And just doing that a few times because they didn't know that they should have made it a mint 10 of 10. Because they were going to do 10 mint one of ones. Is like, I'm just, and there are people that are just honest mistakes that do come off in a way that may be like a bad way to enter You know, and I've kind of talked to a few people about like, hey, I saw you have like 3 mint one of ones out there. I was gonna buy one, but then I saw there's like you actually have way more of the same exact thing as mint one of ones. You know, what kind of advice would you have as artists using NFTs and blockchain and crypto and all that for people doing that? And is that something that even matters? Because like if you painted the same painting by hand, right, 10 times, and they're like identical paintings 10 times, they're all mint one of ones that are 10 of, you know, 10, but they're all handmade. They're almost like that ERC 1155 instead of an ERC 721. You know, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I did it
Yeah, I
once
think
right at the start. I made a double one of one, and I still haven't burned it. There's one that's not for sale, and the one that still hasn't sold. So, I mean, I think it's very common because a lot of, I mean, as John said earlier, a lot of artists aren't super familiar with the tech space, and they're just kind of coming over and learning it. We're kind of discovering each other's value propositions, and they're kind of realizing how to do things, how to operate in the tech space. I didn't know anything that I had no idea what I was doing when I started. And a lot of people were the same. So a lot of mistakes were made, but I haven't seen it happen intentionally yet.
Me neither, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely an important thing to bring up. The biggest thing you can do is like respect your collectors and like honor their future value of your art. And even if it's not in a monetary sense, it's special to someone to say that I have, you know, the 10th piece that Nate ever made, and it's a 101. And that means something to them. And, you know, if you goof up on, I don't know, some contracts won't let you burn a token, but usually they will. If you accidentally make one or label it wrong, whatever, just burn it and, you know, try not to do it again. But in the physical space, I see artists making similar paintings. Like they might, you know, paint an owl 3 or 4 times, but not usually the same exact, you know, identical painting. So it's okay to do similar themes, and it's good to do series, but generally doing the same thing over and over again, unless it's specifically like an addition of so many pieces, generally that's something you want to stay away from. But
at least add or subtract something. Like at least add or subtract some element. Make a black and white version, a super color.
Well,
There's
even
something
if they tried to do it by hand identically. When I was talking about that, what I was kind of envisioning was, you know, like if you walk, like a lot of my friends that are artists, I walk into their house, they have all their art that they, you know, did in school. And they'll have like 50 exact hand paintings of like a fruit basket, the same exact fruit basket. And they're just trying to get the shading right and the lighting right and the like the depth perceptions. And they're like literally pretty much the same damn thing 50 times. But they're all somewhat, like you said, a little bit different, but maybe not to a drastic amount, but they're all kind of like their own mint one of ones. And I don't know, I was just, that's what I was thinking, because, you know, I've seen people, you know, that are painters out there that sell, you know, it is sort of like the same exact thing, you know, kind of to a T, but they're just trying to perfect it over each time. So you may have like the first version of the mint one of one, but by the time they got really good, the 100th time they did that fruit basket, it may be exactly like the other one, but it's like the quality is 100x'd over the experience in time. And there's collectors out there that I see collecting art from artists that kind of show that in a very similar. So when you hold all 3 of them up, you're like, first, 10 years old, 20 years old, 40 years old. And it's like the same thing, and just showing like, look how much more detail I can get. And that's where it's like, I think in the physical aspect, kind of having that mint one of one, clone mint one of one, clone mint one of one. And it's not really hated on as much as having like what Nathan kind of did by accident, having 2 mint one of ones. Technically, the first one is still the mint one of one, and the second mint one of one is mint one of one too. Because you can go to the blockchain and see that, right? So in the metadata on the blockchain, in the smart contracts, you can see that you can maybe have mint one of ones, but they're also timestamped to let you know in which order they were minted.
True. Yeah. True. I mean, you can write whatever you want on the description, 1 of 1 or 1 of 10 or 1 of a million. At the end of the day, like the blockchain is going to tell you, or if it's physical, like either you have to or you don't. But I mean, people can make whatever they want and however they want, and you should do whatever style works for you. But ultimately, the people that buy or view or hang your art are going to decide, you know, but definitely like be creative and don't necessarily follow a strict template. So.
A lot of people in the chat are asking, what do you think about using multiple blockchains, and how would you use Ethereum, Wax, or whatever, different blockchains and NFTs differently as artists? Maybe how you would use a museum differently than an auction house, and a gallery different than the both of those, and a coffee shop. Artists use coffee shops as well.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, where do you see like the coffee shop, auction house, art gallery, museum blockchains, and how could an artist utilize multiple blockchains differently? Nathan, maybe you can touch on that. Yeah, because he's been playing around with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's good to use everything that you can, because we're all, I encourage, like you do, people to be end users of things. Like, we want to use this technology, kind of discover for ourselves what works best for what we're trying to kind of do with it. I think you touched on it when you said that with the museum and the gallery thing, the coffee house. Like, Wax would be like your coffee shop potentially, where you're going to go and you're going to put like your more smaller common items on there. Although I've been putting like more higher end art on there just within the last week to kind of test it out. Cause like I said, try everything. But ETH typically is your museum, your high end gallery, where you're going to put your 1 of 1s, kind of your 10 of 10s, that kind of thing, at least in my opinion. And everything else at this point is for kind of experimentation and trying to break the mold a little bit. And I think artists need to be, we're really creative in kind of the things that we make, but we're not creative in how we kind of sell it and market it and the places that we put it. And I think that we have a lot of opportunities to just kind of use our brain and figure it out for ourselves for once. And I'm excited to actually see what people are going to do, and if the tide shifts in any direction coming up. I think it's definitely possible we see somebody rise up and challenge ETH, but I also like ETH. I was brought in on ETH, and it's like my home. So I don't know. It's one of those weird things where I'm aware that my inner self wants to be a maximalist, but I don't want to be beholden to something. Yeah, it's weird. Like, philosophically, I'm kind of torn on it.
Yeah. I'd like to understand Wax more, like the back end, because I'm careful to use or endorse something that I don't fully understand. And I understand EOS a little bit, which is what it's built on. I don't understand like how much of a side chain or independent Wax is or how it functions. But I think honestly, if they just got their UI either updated or had like a second version of Atomic Hub that was a little bit more like classy looking, I think more artists would be on there selling art stuff, because right now it's very like gamified. And I think like Crypto Stash has been talking about, like gaming is going to be huge over the next year. I think they're set up for that perfectly. But if they could get like a second Atomic Hub that's just a little bit more classy, I think that would be good.
More like a gallery and less like maybe your local comic book store.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I'd like to.
I like the local comic book store too, but like it'd be cool if they had a back room with fine art as well.
Yep. No, some do though. That's where you get those fucking first editions or hand signed Stan Lees.
Yes.
They don't tell anybody they got that in the comic book store. I promise you, that's like crack. They're not gonna tell nobody they're selling crack out of the comic book store. They just want to tell the right person who's going to tell the right person. And they're like, yo, I got that Spider-Man first issue, hand signed
flash
Stan
some
Lee.
Cash.
You got to know a guy who knows a guy. They got that fine art in the comic book stores. And you're right. I think, and the artists I'm working with, Joshua, and the way we're doing this this comic book and stuff, like, that's going to happen, bro. You're going to go to a comic book store and you're going to be like, so what's up? And this guy's going to be like, yo, I got this NFT comic book thing, bro. Like... Yo, come here. Let me check. You know what I mean? Like, and they're gonna see a Kenn Bosak comic book that has NFC, QR codes, and NFTs and all this shit to do with them, man. Like,
yeah, no, I'm excited for that too. By the way, love you, Joshua. Shout out. We're working on a project too. I think he's working with everybody right now, just getting his name out there. He's very productive, and I love it.
So
man.
If you guys, I see we got like about 50 people tuning in from all different platforms. So I just gave away about a $40 NFT. If you look at the bottom of the screen, there's a QR code next to an image of a fortune cookie box. If you have that fortune cookie box in your Wax wallet, you get airdrops of fortune cookies and all kinds of goodies all of the time. So that's one NFT that will get you NFTs forever and ever and ever, and so much fun. So yeah, good luck and congratulations to whoever scanned that QR code. You just got an NFT that will keep giving you NFTs.
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
take advantage of that. I think a lot of people are going to see the power of QR codes in the next couple of years.
I wanted to mention this right now to kind of get maybe John's perspective on this. I can't wait till Beeple realizes how to use airdrops and how airdrops work, and he can be like, wait, all these people got my art? Oh, let me just write a handwritten thank you, mint 1 of 1, and airdrop that to you. Let me say a thank you to you. I can't wait for Beeple to figure out airdropping and gamification. So I'm curious, how do you think, artists that are out there now that may not, know how to use that, but the technology's there and it's easy enough. How could artists like yourself gamify having that like carbon fiber physical, art NFT? Like, how could you gamify this?
I gotta do a demonstration by sending you some of my art, because it seems like you really are into the carbon fiber thing, which most people don't even know what it is. They're like, what is that weird material? But some people that get it are like me, are obsessed with it. I've been making stuff out of carbon fiber.
As soon as Elon Musk is on his radar, he's gonna be like, "Oh wow, you guys are missing out."
It's sick. That's why I want to work with John.
Musk level art. I'm telling you,
it's dope.
Yeah. But I would encourage artists that are coming from the art space to the blockchain space to dig into the technology as much as you can handle, because obviously, don't get your brain fried, because you can do that easily with this stuff, but learn as much as you can, because there's so much cool stuff you can do. And I actually just got a DM this morning. I think Nanu Burks is doing an airdrop potentially. She's doing a giveaway where I don't want to say too much because I'm not sure exactly what she's doing, but there are artists that are doing that, and I think that's awesome. But it's not hard. You just need to know their address, and you drop, so you just do a transfer instead of a sale. And there's a lot of cool things you can do, and I would encourage artists to do creative things like that get people to show your appreciation and thank them for appreciating and collecting your work.
Yeah, that's how, like, right now, if you make a charity donation and you can put "love is the answer" in the memo section and you DM me that, I'll send you an NFT on Wax. So there's anybody out there, even $1, like, I don't care. I'll send you something. So that's something like I think I can do as an artist. But I like the airdrop idea. I think it's kind of like the future of that a little bit, like repaying people. If people became the Uniswap of NFTs, because he just gave everybody 400 NFTs or something crazy.
Well, that's why I think people could pull a Mr. Beast and just see. Wait.
Yeah.
Time out. I can go to the blockchain. Mr. Beeple. Beeple Beast. All right, so listen to me, Beeple, if you're here, and I know you are, bro.
You watch us. So
Beeple could just go to the blockchain and say, hey, wait, these are the most active 100,000 wallets. I can send out, an NFT to 100,000 people. Here's a free, NFT. And now he just basically pulled a Mr. Robot, hacked the system, and just gave everybody, free money, you know what I mean, to go buy Lambos and houses and yachts. Like, that's what a Beeple could do. Beeple could easily he could be like the fucking Joker of Gotham and crypto. He could just be like, wait, hold on, my art's going for 69 million? Airdrop, everybody 69 million. You get 69 million. You get 69 million. You get 69 million. Like, you know how fucking easy Beeple could do that, bro?
That's what's so cool about art to me, because it's the same in the traditional art world too, where in a sense what you're selling is yourself and your story. And I think a lot of artists could learn about supply and demand and how to be careful about how much you make in editions and things like that. But it's cool because in traditional art, people will barter with their art. Like one of my mentors that I was just talking to got cabinet work done in his house by giving the guy a painting that he did, because the guy liked his art and he wanted, cabinets put in. And people will, they use it for bad things too. Like sometimes they'll manipulate their value, but it's like you can create something in a day that has an immense value, and you can use that in a good way to drop that on your collectors or to help people out. But you also have to be careful because you have to understand the value of what what you have in your hands. And if you're a good steward of that value, then people are going to respect you over time and they're going to value you higher. And if you're not aware of the value of your work, then it's probably not going to accumulate. But yeah, that would be cool if people did that. like Mr. Beast, who's cool dude. So.
Yeah, so come on, Mr. Beeple.
Yeah.
These NFTs.
That would be fun, man. I'm just saying, like, I can't, and maybe one day if I get to that level of some oddly popularity, like, better believe I'll be doing some shit like that. Like, it's like celebrities that are in your favorite movies and they're on stage at like Comic-Con to do a panel and there's no Q&A, there's no like, fans meet and greets or selfies and signatures. It's like, wow, you're quite literally not giving back, because like that photo or that signature is an actual store of value. And you're just not reinvesting in your community by giving them that time to get a picture with you. That's an airdrop. So I think this is a way to do it, just 2.0, have a lot more fun with it. And I think communities will grow. It's not like, imagine if all the people that subscribe to Justin Bieber or Kim Kardashian and all these people that made these celebrities more wealthy, like, you have no stock in them. You have no equity in them. The better off they are, there's no better off you are. But in crypto, if you're, able to, store value in that person, even without their acknowledgement, it could just be a piece of art that Nathan made of me, and somebody could buy that piece of art from Nathan that just looks like me. And if I am like, whatever in the future, it's still a piece of, it's so like, it is an investment in whatever. It's almost, I don't know. It's weird
I should sell that actual portrait of you that we made the NFT out of. That 2D portrait. I'm just kidding. We'll give it to charity.
No, dude, make it a physical. Use some carbon fiber shit with John. Throw some NFT stuff in there. NFT it.
I'm down.
Dude, we should do that.
We could also like maybe nest some crypto inside of it, so you have to like rip out the carbon fiber to get to like the private keys and shit.
I love that
like
idea.
It's one or the other. You either got to leave the Bitcoin or you got to destroy the artwork.
Yep.
It's like the pink elephants that we're going to be doing. So, I mean, the portrait is more like that, where it's just, yeah. So it's harder to get that full visual when it's moving, obviously. But yeah, dude, we can do some crazy stuff. I got like 30 different versions of that. I put way too much time into it.
You really did, dude. You definitely did.
I know. It's like embarrassing almost, because I just do so many.
You know how much pressure I felt because I didn't know you that well yet? And I'm like, wow, this guy's really investing in me.
I like to try hard, man. Like, everybody that gives me an opportunity, I like to make sure that they know that their investment's going to pay them back. And I don't know. I want to show appreciation.
And that's how I feel too right now. I've actually probably given away over $100 worth of NFTs while we were here because there's so many people watching. I'm grateful. So what I do is I actually update the QR on the bottom of that screen. So right now, watch. I'll go ahead and I'll pick an NFT out of this list. What am I going to give away now? I got a $10 pack of cogs. I'll give away a $10 pack of cogs right now to somebody.
Oh, yeah.
So watch what happens at the bottom of the screen when I update the image. Boom.
I can't see it.
Well, no, you shouldn't be able to, but they...
Scan that bad boy.
There it goes. And now you can scan that QR code and you got a $10 pack of cogs, the booster pack, 2nd edition.
And why would you not want some
And that's
free
me,
cogs?
that's just me being able to use this technology in a fun way to give back to my community for supporting me just with their attention. You know what I mean? Like, thanks for watching. Here's some crypto. Here's some money. Here's some NFTs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's like when you go to a concert and somebody just starts shooting a swag cannon into the audience, giving out t-shirts.
That's what it is. I think you understand the whole like social currency better than anyone I've ever met. And
Same.
Not many people are even like aware of that concept, but I think like you guys get it.
He's like my main example. Like when I'm talking to like Fortune 500 executives, they're like, how do we gamify this or create community? I'm like, you know Kenn Bosak?
Yeah.
They all say yes, but they're all like, they're not aware of like how good he is at creating this thing, you know?
Yeah, I don't want to, just saying, I don't want to work. I want to be unhireable.
I think we're all getting there.
Yeah.
I think
that
the more
way
you
projects only work with me because they genuinely fucking like me, because the risk of me getting high while promoting them is too high. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you better really fucking like me, bro. You better genuinely
you mean
like me. For me.
You mean like
not
Elon
for my
Musk?
clout.
Similar to Elon Musk. That's not a bad thing.
Right. It's really not a bad thing, bro. It weeds out a lot of weasels.
Yeah. Well, a little tidbit secret that I've been realizing as I'm watching this industry grow is that like 20, 30 years ago, your best bet as a company or a brand or whatever was to seem as professional as you could. Get the perfect .com name, get the white collar, a great board of directors. Doesn't matter if you know your stuff. If you look professional, people will invest in you. And now everything has changed where the goal is to be as personal as you can. If you're a big brand, your goal is to look as much like Kenn Bosak or Nate McCrorey as you can and be personable, because people want that honest interaction with real people and they're kind of fed up with all the corporatism. So a little tidbit for anyone, trying to do anything, or any company trying to get a hold of, someone in this space, is be authentic, because people can see right through you. And the only way you're going to survive is if you understand that.
Absolutely. And the best way to be authentic is to genuinely love yourself, because no one else is ever going to accept you or whatever kind of BS idea you're trying to push if you don't have genuine love behind it. So there's a lot of companies that struggle to create community and get sales right now.
Well, that's
even
why I love what
market.
you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know how many times I'll sit there and watch somebody in an interview, or, hey, D-Live is blowing up. Barbie Pink, thank you. I love your emojis, by the way. I don't know. Like, how are you? Oh, they are showing up in this. That is awesome. Yeah, D-Live. I use D-Live every day, but I've never gotten this much love from D-Live, so I definitely want to shout that out. Thank you.
D-Live, baby.
But yeah, man, I've just been a big fan of, the concept of social currency for a long time, since like my freshman year of high school. Just the combination of like the classes I guess I was taking at the time, right? Like psychology, and then right after psychology I had history class, and then right after history class I had Spanish. And like it wasn't just like Spanish, the language Spanish, it was like Spanish history, Spanish culture. It was Spanish culture class. It wasn't just learning the words, it was learning Spain and Mexico and all, like, everything, right, in general. Just like, so we covered like foreign currency in that class. And then we had the history class, and then I had, psychology. And just like, just, I guess, always having that hustler type of a mindset, I was just like, well, isn't that like just what, like, memorabilia is from like a band? Like, they're just printing money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's their currency. It's not government currency, but it's like, it's band currency. Like, it's corporate currency when they give you a gift card or whatever. And I've kind of always thought about, having my own gift card. How cool would that be if I could have Kenn Bosak gift cards, and I could, whatever, I could babysit for you or whatever, like my thought was at the time as a kid. Or I could, instead of, shoveling your yard, I could just write you a couple coupons and you could have me shovel throughout the whole winter. You could just buy them in bulk. And I've always kind of had that mentality of like hustling and that like gamification of my own like currency system or something. Like, it's always just been there. And just being able to apply it right now is sort of like a real childhood fantasy coming true. And I don't know many people that were like 12 years old thinking about making their own money and like selling gift cards to their neighbors to do their like fucking chores or, shovel their sidewalks.
Yeah, I was that kid at 14 with the lawnmower pushing it down the
Same,
street.
dude. I was the 14-year-old.
I made flyers and everything.
I was the 14-year-old who probably stole your lawnmower to go do all that.
Yeah, when we get into each other's pasts, it's not as glamorous, is it?
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was definitely a scumbag. I was 100% a scumbag, but
I grew up in a bad neighborhood.
I wasn't
and
like
there's
I
a lot of
wasn't an
things.
evil person. I just survived. I was in a bad area, bro, at a bad time. I
Same.
just survived, man. Like, you know, my best friends were people I couldn't trust in my bedroom because they would probably steal my shit. But they're my
Same here,
best
dude.
fucking friends. I just can't leave
Yeah.
them alone in my bedroom.
Yeah, you
Wow,
like them.
yeah.
You don't want them to go away, but you know that they're gonna steal your money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you just have to kind of make amends with that. Keep your money in your pocket, hide your shit, and just try to enjoy yourself around them because they are fun people.
And Mr. Beast is an idol of mine. So like that's another thing I've always thought, you know, getting into crypto. Even when I was in 2015, when I got in 2016, I mean, I don't really mention it because it's stupid, but I've given away a lot of crypto, and you can go to my YouTube and look at it from 2015, 2016. I've given away whole Bitcoins to people. I've given away probably 1,000 or more Litecoin, hundreds of Dash. I just, that whole like just giving back to just people in general has always been a thing of mine too. Even though, like I said, I may have been a scumbag, but it was product of environment, right? But like the way I was raised, the nature versus nurture never really, you know, it didn't lose. You know, I've always been a giving person, and just like the, you know, see that factor of just like, if I'm watching you on your live stream for an hour talking to your friends and I know you're sponsored making money and blah blah, I'm like, it would be nice if I could have a chance of getting a kickback or whatever and getting, and that's how I feel when I do the give backs with like the QR codes and like everything. And I just want people to know I think about them and I appreciate their support, and it's just something I'm going to keep doing as I go forward, is try to kind of lead that example of like, dude, you don't have to be Mr. Beast to grow and give back, and you know, you don't have to be Beeple to sell art, and you don't have to be a rocket engineer to make an NFT. You know, you could just be a high school dropout stoner like me and just do what you do. And if you do it well, I don't know, I don't even know if I do what I do well, but I do it consistently, and that's awesome. It's working for me in some way, and whatever way it works in a way I can give back and share, I do. And that's the key I think artists are going to unlock, because if I buy a physical piece of art from John, and I have a John Constantine, you know, carbon fiber physical piece of art from 5 years ago, say, right? How do you gamify that and reward me, right? How do you like know my mailing address and say, hey man, thanks for, here's a handwritten, you know, what people could do is make an NFT of it and airdrop it now, right?
Yeah.
So I think that level of artist, community engagement, gamification is about to do some revolutionary shit that I can't fathom. I don't think anybody sees what's about to happen with this level of social interaction, financial engagement, and monetary gamification when it comes to supporting people.
So I'm going to just go ahead and ruin another secret. You touched on something here. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm setting up a website where people that hold my art can come and get a monthly claim. There'll be like 10 pieces each month randomly. So you show up to the website and click, you might get one. And that should be out in the next 2 months. I'm looking at a month, but I don't want to, my friend who's a dev, I don't want to push him.
Right.
That's sick. That's really cool.
I think it's something that you're going to see more often. And it's exactly what Ken was saying. So I figured I would just mention it.
All right.
And it takes out the step. A lot of artists don't like, we're busy. Like we're doing promoting, interviews, creating art. So just the fact that you could set up a claim and not have to worry about like airdropping and really organizing it, I think is nice. And a lot of people are going to want to do that for that reason.
Hey, John, we got a bunch of people still watching right now, about 60 people. So I want to let them know where to get in touch with you. So it's John Constantine, the floor is yours. We're going to wrap things up. Let people know where they can get in touch with you and find your art that I've been talking about. Because I'm telling you people right now, you're definitely want to go at least check this shit the fuck out.
It's sick.
It's sick. I appreciate you plugging it. I don't want to sell it. I never want to sell any of my art. But the first place you can go is rarible.com/John Constantine. As much as Ken's been hammering them, we all have. I've got an auction live right now that closes at 8 o'clock, and
I don't demonize the artist because I demonize the platform.
Yeah, buy from my Rarible.
I know, right? But it was
buy John's first.
I made my own contract because I don't trust any platform, but it was the best I could do. So since it's my own contract, it's token ID 1. It's closing at 8 p.m. and I shouldn't say because it's an auction, but my friend is gonna probably try and wait till the end to snipe it. And I told him to get into it earlier. But if you want that, rarible.com/John Constantine, my website, johnconstantineart.com. And then every other platform, it's just John Constantine something. But my DMs are open. Talk to me. I'm happy to help. Happy to share your artwork. If I like your artwork, I'll just share it. I'm not gonna leave you on red like half of these people do. Like, so annoying. Like I like talking to people. So
powerful name too. It has a ring.
Yes,
you can tell that it's powerful. Like I could see the future, my friend.
Thank you. If you know Alan Moore,
it has some gravitas to it.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, Alan Moore, like he has the character John Constantine, the cartoon character, and it's my real name. But it's just when I got older and I knew who he was, I'm like, this guy fights demons for a living. I'm like, I like this.
Man. Yeah, I think it's amazing.
It's fun. So yeah, but I appreciate it, Ken.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate you, dude. Like I said, you got the vision for this, and I think what you're doing is definitely ahead of the curve, and it's going to be, one of those things that could be in one of the art history books, and I think a lot of artists need to start realizing they can use the Internet of Things to physically connect their physical art to the digital world as an NFT. It's doable right now in so many different ways, so many unique different ways, and you could do a combination of them and put them all together and just have fun as an artist with this technology right now, because no matter what, one of you are going to become the first of something. This is where we're at right now, is the era of first seeds, and you could be the next first seeds. So all you have to do is do something. Seriously, DM me any questions you have, because part of why I'm like public about what I'm doing is I want to help see people do this the right way, and I want to see the industry go in the right direction on the right platforms. And so DM me and I'll help you. And if I don't have time to do a collab or something, like I'll just tell you everything I know, or at least point you in the right direction. So,
and speaking of collabs, I just want to say people need to pay attention to what John and I are going to do, because it's probably going to be on the news a year from now. Like, we are going to freak you guys the hell out. It's going to be kind of just worldwide, like just out there in real life. It's crazy. You have no idea what's about to hit you. So just pay attention.
Oh, get ready. I saw somebody in the chat say that hold on. Jeremy Crow, yes. So turns out last night when I was setting everything up, the Pinata Cloud IPFS site that I use for uploading to IPFS, they were down. So I couldn't upload any images. I couldn't get the hash. I couldn't mint my templates. So therefore, I couldn't put my art out on my website until it was already on the blockchain. I'm a big advocate of do not share your art until you make it an NFT. Just unless you have like a
you do it like this.
Well, you're going to want a really crazy watermark or something, right? You need to do something, but I wouldn't. Yeah, exactly. Have a day, everybody. Thanks.
Have
Randy,
a day.
Hurley ATV, Barbie Pink. Thank you so much for all the support. Jeremy Crow, Lance Scott. Thank you. I appreciate everybody who tuned in. There's a lot. Just when Crypto hit me with the $5. Mellow Fellow hit me with the $5.
Josh, I'm going to hit you up.
Yo, what up? Lance the Wizard. You said, time to rip, bro. $5 super chat. You got it, bro. Let's hit it up and we're going to get out of here. Thanks, everybody, for the love.
We love you, and we're going to do this just for you. John, I know that you're in public, but hit it up.
No, I don't got nothing on me.
There are no rules in NFT world. We love you.
Have a day.
Have a day.
Hello, happy bros. Hey, you're about to get a face full of the Kenn Bosak. He's a mentor. That's what I heard. He's a connector. Oh, yeah. He's a brilliant leader. I've seen it. He's Kenn Bosak. Oh, happy bro. You gotta get some Bitcoin and hold it. Happy bros. You gotta get those NFTs and you gotta hodl that stuff. You gotta hodl it. 'Cause I'm Kenn bro. We got your Bitcoin, bro. He's an original. Buy some
NFTs and hold them. How many times does he have to tell you? Going to the moon.
We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. 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 Yeah, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Bro, we're going to the moon. Oh yeah, we're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. Real high. Real high.
Hello, happy bros. Come get some Kenn Bosak.